Good noon, everyone, and welcome to today's thorough newspaper analysis for the 2nd of August 2022. So, today we have one editorial from the Hindu newspaper which is titled Language is Barrier, and it talks about the increase of Indian language in higher education. Second and the third segment will comprise of the news update and the legal news respectively, as you know, which are a part of Law Seeko's initiative to keep its students and readers updated with the current affairs that is happening in and around of India. Now, this will give you an edge when you are sitting for your competitive exams. So, for the first article today, language is barrier. So, the Home Minister has called for the teaching of courses like engineering, law, and medicine in Indian languages. Now, this statement of his stands in sync with the National Education Policy of 2020, which seeks the promotion of Indian languages in higher educational institutes. So the Home Minister's claim does uphold a strong point. Now, 95% of the students who are going into higher education come from a background where they have received primary education in their mother tongue. Now, if we focus on a completely foreign language, if we focus, let's say, in English, because English is again the most common medium of higher studies. So, if we focus on English, we are leaving behind 95% of these students who are coming from a native language background into higher studies. Now, to this end, the AICTE has also granted permission to 10 engineering colleges to start courses in Indian languages, which shall be effective from 2021 to 2022. Now, the council has also developed an AICTE translation automation AI tool that translates English online courses in 11 Indian languages. Swayam, as we know, is an open online course platform from the central government. So this platform, Swayam, has also been offering some of its popular courses in Indian languages. Now, yes, this is an appreciable approach, and the policymakers and educationalists are taking into consideration the majority of the student faction who are stepping into higher education. But there also exists some pain points which must be addressed. Firstly, care should be taken to discuss the policy threadbare with the educationalists and policymakers, and this is because we need to preserve English where possible. We cannot just throw it away out of a derision arising that it is a foreign language. Now, one of the most prominent arguments in this regard is that if we are focusing on Indian languages per se, one of the issues will stand as if we go back to the previous slide. See, in this map, we can see that Bengali is spoken only in West Bengal. And if the person were to shift in Kannada, in Kerala or Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra, the person would face difficulties in communicating with people if they do not have a common language medium. Secondly, knowing one foreign language, at least in the case of English, since it is so widely spoken, it greatly enhances the student, the capability of the student to go and pursue education abroad. Now, there is also this point of diminished employability that I was talking of due to language barriers in this case, which should be taken into consideration by the educationalists and the policymakers while they go forward to implement Indian language in higher studies. So, with this note, we will be moving on to our news updates. Firstly, Har Ghar Tiranga campaign. Har Ghar Tiranga is a campaign under the aegis of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to encourage people to bring the Tiranga home and hoist it to mark the 75th year of India's independence. Now, this seeks to create a sense of familiarity and pride for the national flag of India. Secondly, we have the Indian Antarctic Bill. The Indian Antarctic Bill 2022 was introduced in Lok Sabha on April 1st, 2022. The bill seeks to give effect to the Antarctic Treaty, the Convention of Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources, and the Protocol on Environmental Protection to the Antarctic Treaty. It also seeks to protect the Antarctic environment and regulate activities in the region. Thirdly, we have Nichelle Nichols dies. American actress Nichelle Nichols, best known for her role in 1960s sci-fi TV series Star Trek, has died aged 89. Nichols broke barriers in her role as Lieutenant Nyota Uhara in the series, becoming one of the first Black actresses in the US to play a figure in authority. She was later employed by NASA in an effort to encourage more women and African Americans to become astronauts. Fourthly, we have the World Breastfeeding Week 2022, which spans from the 1st of August to the 7th of August. Now, World Breastfeeding Week will focus on strengthening the capacity of actors that have to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding across different levels of society. These actors make up the warm chain of support for breastfeeding. For legal updates today, we have firstly entries in books of accounts or balance sheet of corporate debtor can be treated as acknowledgement of liability of debt payable to financial creditor. Now, the Supreme Court in the case of Asset Reconstruction Company India Limited versus Tulip Star Hotels Limited held that in the case the corporate debtor made entries into the balance sheet or the book of accounts, the same could be considered as an acknowledgement of the debt that he owed to the financial creditor. Secondly, lawyers default sufficient cause to condone delay in the absence of willful negligence on the litigant's part. The Kerala High Court, in the case of Rajesh Chandran versus M.R. Gopalakrishnan Nair and others, recently observed that if there existed some sort of a default on the part of the lawyer, the same would be sufficient cause to condone delay as long as there are no willful latches on the litigant's part. So this was all for today. For free study materials and TNA PDF slides, please join our Telegram channel. You can find the link in the description below the YouTube video, or you can always scan it on the screen at the Law Test Prep. So you can also follow us on our official Instagram channels, lawseco.judiciary, lawseco clat prep, and UGCnet_lawseco. For any further information, please feel free to visit www.lawseco.com. Thank you.